Good morning, guys. I basically just finished doing the last details for the PowerPoint. Jay right now is making some changes, making some stuff. He gotta revise some stuff. He wants to have a certain way to have it completed. Basically, there he's making some changes on different stuff for the two companies. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do because the way that I did it was like to just touch on it and based on the information you guys posted. But hopefully, when he does the changes, it's not too different to what I have right now. That way, you guys can relate to the explanation I'm gonna give you right now. So let's start with the presentation. So again, this is our main the introduction of the whole PowerPoint slides. Our names, the title, the uh, the logo, like we said in the first video. If you click the apple, it shows you like the timeline of all the apples. If you click the apple again, you go back to the slide that you were in. Just a quick reminder: the apple. The reason why we are using this apple is for trademark and to like remembrance or on behalf of Steve Jobs. Okay, that's the main reason why we're using the trademark on every slide of the presentation. Moving on. The presentation content, I only selected four main ideas of what we're going to be presenting. So that's going to be evaluation of Apple SWOT, understanding diversification and concentration throughout the presentation, and the company's evaluation. Moving on. The mission, he's going to be editing this part, he's going to be highlighting stuff and doing some other stuff. He's doing it in a Google slide, so hopefully when I get there early tomorrow, if we need to do it into a PowerPoint format, we do it before 8 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, so this is mission, this is gonna be Jay. So each slide, if I did not forget to put a name, each slide has either the link where they got the information or the person that's gonna be presenting the slide. So for the first two, it's gonna be me and me. Now understand something, the reason why I'm telling you the information that I'm gonna be presenting is because I want everybody to be on the same page. Moving on. The timeline is gonna be Jay, information, link, so on and so forth. He's going to be explaining from 1976, where Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak or whatever uh, founded the company, to 2017, where the iPhone X is unveiled. Then we're gonna come with Jose. Jose is gonna be explaining the code of conduct, the ethics of Apple, and it's basically code of conduct for main principles of integrity, labor and human rights, anti-discrimination, anti-harassment, abuse, and business integrity. Right. Out of all of these, there is backup information if we click on them, just in case somebody wants to know more about the code of conduct, or if we or him wants to explain further any of these topics. Moving on. The values. Jose is also doing this slide. He's going to be explaining. He can do the first line, which is Apple is committed to the highest standards of social and environmental responsibilities and ethical conduct, and then explain how the new headquarters is going to have a home-like feeling because and an environmental responsibility because of how the center of the whole headquarters is going to be green friendly, which is like forest environmental friendly. I don't know however you want to explain that, Jose. And the home like feeling is going to be the inside and the outside of the headquarters, where there are going to be parks, there are going to be cafeterias, there are going to be things that people can enjoy between break hours or after, you know, every working hour. The Apple strategy, this is where Alicia comes in, and she's gonna be explaining the Apple strategy is that industrializes and supplies the whole range of hardware, software, as well as its own innovative operating system. Apple uses concentration and related diversification in order to sustain the profit level with a guarantee not to lose their profit growth and margins by investing somewhere else. Which this information means is Apple have been using concentration and related diversification in order to make the hardware and the software of each product that they have better. For example, she could click the research and development thing and say the companies, or she can just keep it, she can just keep it short and move on with what she was saying. So basically just say, oh, so basically every investment that they've done has been to research and development. and then just keep going from that. And then say their core strength is a hardware company, it's a software company, it's a service company, and it's a retail company. Apple is one or the only one who has all four entities working in harmony. Its success can be traced back to strong growth within the company's own research and development, but also strong outside acquisitions that it had made over the years. There, she can goes into, the research and development link, which will take her to the 6 more notable acquisitions that they've had, and that way she can explain like, oh, you see Siri, they bought Siri in 2010, and that's how they got to make the use of Siri in the new iPhone. And maybe she can research in the morning, oh, for the iPhone 4S was the first iPhone to ever have Siri, and explain Beats Electronics, how they bought it just to sell it in their stores, or the Next Inc. where was Steve Jobs' company when he left, the one that he created, and then they bought, that way he will come back into the company. Imagic, which is to make iLife better, the iLife soup of products better. They can also say Novarious to make to help improve Apple Series technology. PrimeSense, which was a 3D motion sensor company uh, used for Xbox 360 game systems, and they basically used it uh, to capture. I don't know. She can read it. She can read this part. This part tells it how they used it or how they were trying to use it. And then the bottom line, if she wants to include this. Oh wait, the bottom line was the part of the presentation. So moving on. This is where either Yori or I will be coming in. Probably I will, just because it's been a little bit since I talked. I'm gonna say, their hardware is this, and that. Their software is what the hardware uses to function, and it's basically the iOS, which is used into iPhone and iPads. The Mac OS, which is used into the Macs, and the Watch OS, which is used into the Apple Watch, and the TV OS, which is used into the Apple TV. They have different services within the hardware, which is iTunes App Store, iBook Store, and Apple Music. The application softwares could be between iLife, iWork, iMovie, Final Cut Pro, and also iTunes. Moving on. The Apple's distribution structure, this is where Jose comes back again. He will be explaining, Apple main sales or main ways to sell is the online store, retail stores, and third-party wholesalers, which basically means through the online stores, people can just go online and buy the product that they want. They can go to the retail store to see in person the products that Apple have, and then the third-party wholesalers is mostly like Verizon and blah 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 and so on, and they basically provide iPhones through their plans and blah 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 blah. That's how he can explain this slide. Moving on. Now, the SWOT analysis, that's going to be Ye again. He's going to be explaining, strengths is this, opportunities is that, weakness is this, and threats are these. Moving on, the position in the industry, this is where Alicia comes back in. Alicia will be explaining where Apple is as a whole and where products of Apple is. I just noticed that we could have include the TV, the Apple TV market share, and the iWatch market share, but I feel like we shouldn't put it in, even if there is information about it, because they are relatively like super new products, and probably Apple is like number one in each one of them because it's like one of the first companies that brought the systems into the market. So she's gonna explain like, okay, so Apple is the number seven top regarded company. She's gonna be looking at this side first. They are number 7 in sales, number 1 in profit, number 95 in assets, number 1 in market value, and number 4 in world's best employers. Then she's gonna say, okay, it costs 752 billion. It's mainly a computer hardware. It started as a computer hardware industry, or it started in the computer hardware industry, and then it spread into iPhones, iPod, blah blah blah. And you see iPod is another thing that we could like show market share, but again, that's like, it's not something so big anymore, so I don't think we should include those things. She can say that the website to go to is HTTP blah 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 blah, and then the employees, it's around 116,000, and that the new headquarters are in Cupertino, California. Then she's gonna move on into iTunes, which is basically most of her research, and she can say that iTunes is the most popular music platform preferred by U.S. music consumers, and then leave it at that. If she wants to see, oh, by the way, if she wants to see this, like more about 4Bs, which is where the number 7, number 1, number 95, number 4 is at, it's on 4Bs, 4Bs or whatever it's pronounced. And basically, it's an American business magazine. And then these are the top 10 companies on the Global 2000. And then this is the top regarded companies where they are number 7. Now here's the thing, the Global 2000, I researched about what it is exactly, and it's basically a list of the companies that will like be in the future, and it will have a lot of things in the future. And then the top regarded companies is like where they feel, or the fucking world feels, that companies should be regarded. You know, like Siemens for whatever they do, Michelin Group, which is like auto and truck parts, Apple for computer hardware, and so on and so forth. If she wanted to see the actual picture of the whole list, is this one, and then she can go move on into like other things that 4Bs have. Then she clicks the Apple, she comes back to this, and she moves on into iTunes. If she wants to see the iTunes picture bigger, she can click here, then she can go back. She can she can explain that as 2017, Apple MacBooks or Apple computers are ranked number 5th with a 78 of 100 rate of customer satisfaction. Then if she clicks here, she can show like a chart of who's on 1st to 5th, which they are in 5th. The problem is was like 2016 end, starting to 2017, and then this graph actually shows why Acer was on top. Acer was on top because there were more units shipped or sold between the first quarter of 2017. Okay, and this is in millions, by the way. There is 4 million shipments. There's 4 million shipments for Acer. The market share, like she can say that Apple has a 6.8 market share on the 2017 market share the first quarter, and based on like the difference between the growth between 2017 and 2016, you can say that it has a 4.5 market share increasement, right? Now moving on, we come back here. Then she can keep going with smartphones. She can say that Apple is the number 2 vendor of smartphones. She can say that it's sold 51 million units or shipments or whatever. It has a 15% relatively market share at the moment. And then she can also explain why others has a 39.9% by clicking on it and saying that in the UK they use Android software, which is a third party software, and these are the phones that are mostly sold on the UK. This is the whole graph again, and then she can say in this graph that from 2013 to 2017 it has increased 70% the sales, and Apple has grown 70% of their own sales from 150 million or billion. Is it billion or million? I think it's million. Yeah, million. 150 million units sold to 255 units sold on Apple iPhone units sold, and market share, market volume on million units sold. All right, moving on. Then she can just finish off with the tablets, which is the four most important things, like an application software, and the 3 hardware that it's most important and most recognizable from Apple. She can say that the tablet, they are number 1 with an 8.9 shipments or units sold, a 24.6 market share, and the same reason of why is it 39.8% is because of the Android stuff. She can just say that there's nothing on that. That's just, yeah. Moving on. Then this is where Yori comes in. Yori has to say this basically. Okay, so Tim Cook. So Tim Cook is a chief executive officer at the moment. Their leadership style is democratic, and it's democratic because he took parts of the spoken wheel hierarchy that Steve Jobs had in the past. Whoa, why did that happen? Okay, there you go. Then he can refer to this graph, which this graph is basically explaining. Okay, so look, this center right here is the people that reported to Steve Jobs, and then Steve Jobs, with the collected information, will make the decision, right? Okay, if he wants to, if he wants to show the more closed-in picture of the whole graph, he can show this and then explain what I just said. And then if he wants to go to Tim, he can say that in this slide, he can say, okay, so Tim, he has a more like a democratic leadership style because these people and him make the decisions for the company. He actually uses these people's points of view in order to make a decision for the company. And then after he has explained that, he can say that every group is based on function and product. He can show how there's software engineers or software teams, there's hardware engineers or hardware teams, there are contracts. He can read into that. I haven't had the chance or wanted to read that and understand where are the contract teams and the supplier quality engineers into this. And then this is just a recap that Team Cook has a democratic leadership style. Moving on. Measurement for success. This is Jory as well. He's gonna be explaining how Apple Inc. measures its performances for success in multiple ways: by customer satisfaction, or attitude and loyalty, or by gains in sales, numbers, and profit, which indicates presence of new value. Now, in this chart right here, it shows the revenue and the net profit in millions. Okay, this chart is just referring to the last one, and it's just talking about where Apple is as a hardware industry. Now, there's two things you gotta remember, Yori. If you wanna go to my graph, the one I did, you click the picture. It shows you the revenue, not the profit. You go back. If you wanna see this graph bigger, you click the apple. The apple will show you the revenue and the profit. Moving on. This is where I come in again, and I'm gonna be saying, okay, so we as a group, we have decided that we were gonna use unrelated diversification into our way to make the company whatever. And then I will say that I will come up with something better when I'm presenting to you guys, or when I'm practicing tomorrow in class, or tomorrow in the library. So basically I'm gonna say, so Everlane, we chosen Everlane and Nike because Everlane, we want to do an apparel, and this is where Jay is gonna make some changes. So hopefully when he does it, I learn them and I'm able to present it better. So I'm gonna say we choose Everlane, and we're gonna do an unrelated diversification. One of the reasons why we choose Everlane is because we would like to do an apparel, and the reason why we would like to do an apparel unrelated diversification is because Apple is making a new headquarters, and they want to make it a home-like feeling. We feel that making an apparel with Everlane, it's a high-end clothing product or clothing company, and we feel like if we do the unrelated diversification with them, we can have besides a home-like feeling, we can also have a clothing feeling, or like a casual Apple clothing feeling for the employees, for the customers, for everybody, for everything. We can also say that for Nike, we would like to also do an apparel and technology, and say, okay, so we are gonna do an apparel and technology because we already have a partnership with them with the Nike iWatch. Now, we would like to also make technology and apparel together to make sports, sports, I don't know, a sports clothing line that has connection, or has some type of, I don't know, connection with the iWatch. We can figure it out, with Jay. Jay is the one that has the ideas. I just have the informational knowledge. And then we can also say that XD and Patagonia are two other companies that we checked in. XD was more of a concentration than an unrelated diversification. It was a concentration because it was to better the safety of MacBooks and the safety of electronics, and also it was a better way to have to use or to anything with the iPhone, let's say. The reason for this is because the actual backpack has, it's portable charger. You could have used your portable charger while you were going to school in an easy way, let's say, something like that. And then Patagonia is like an apparel as well, it's an unrelated diversification as well, and it's more related to, uh, for the northern states, and because it's more of a hoodie, jacket, whatever company than a casual company like Everlane. Now, from here, I would say now I'm gonna give you, let's say Jay to present Everlane, and then we will have, let's say, Joy or Jose to present this, and then for Everlane, you click Everlane, it will show you the keys that Jay gave for this, and then he would just go quickly through them. By then, I think he would have it memorized or edit it, so that's on him. If he clicks company, he can go to the SWOT of Everlane. If he clicks mission, he can go to the decision of why he chosen himself Everlane, right? Okay. Moving on. Then we move on to Nike, and then from Nike, wait, this is wrong. Sorry, I probably misclicked. I'm sorry. From Nike, if let's say I'd say, Yori, would you please, present us Nike? Basically, he's gonna be like, oh, their objective is blah blah blah, which is the P of his information. The L is gonna be the concern for climate. The O is gonna be the company's conscious of sustainable economy, and then the PLOC. The C is the company measures their performances by using blah blah blah. If he wants to see like the online store, he clicks the sustainable blah blah blah. Now, if he wants to see the performance, is the SWOT. That's how it's linked. Is a Nike SWOT analysis. Then he goes back to this. Then from here, we go to takeaway. This is where I came up with it. I don't know if Jay's gonna make some changes to it. I have no idea what is gonna be his outcome on this, but this is what I came up with. We would say takeaway. So we went through the evaluation of Apple's PLOC. We went through that it's a technology company that commands a large market share. It's we should have provided you with the position in different industries that Apple is, the position in the different industries that Apple is, the position in the different industries that Apple is. I wanna do this because this is me. So takeaways: the evaluation of Apple PLOC. We should have learned that it's a technology company that commands a large market share. We also talked about the positions in the different industry that Apple is, the ways of distribution and products, their most important values and ethics, and how they operate. We also look into understanding diversification and concentration. We discuss which one have they used the most until now and which one we would like to use. Also, the company's evaluation, which one is the two that best fits with the Apple values. It's gonna be Everlane for the clothing, and then Nike with the iWatch, and blah blah blah. From this, it's basically questions that we could. This is something that we used to do back in high school. So basically, after every presentation, we made a test for people to take. This is something that we can just ask raising hands or just not do it. It's up to you guys. So simple questions. What is one ethical behavior that Apple representatives follow? Which I forgot to link that shit. So I guess when Jay gives me any edits that he made, I'll do that. But basically, every question is developed here, and then these would have been the links if we wanted to review like these stuff. And then an estimated guess of how many people should know at least one answer for these three questions. And then the last slide will be the end of slideshow. Press escape to exit. So guys, just to let you know, after that there is slides, and those are the backup slides, the slides that you have to click for in order to see on different links on the previous slides. There's 18 main slides. There is about 25 extra slides or extra informational slides. There's also one for main resources, just in case Professor Cooper asked us, where are your links? Where's the slide of the links? And then we just give her this one. Jay also have to do the MLA thing. I'm waiting for him to show me what he did. And then these are basically all the extra informational slides that I have, or that we have. Okay? So yeah, guys, any questions, anything you want me to revise or anything like that, just please contact me, contact Jay. He knows exactly what we're doing. So yeah, guys, I will see you tomorrow or later on today. Bye.